Welcome to Paul's Kitchen. This is Chef Paul, and today we're going to be doing a en français dish called poutine. You've asked for it and I've answered. So please hit the like, share, subscribe button, and we're going to be doing homemade poutine, which is basically cheese curds, gravy, and french fries. Here it is. Trust me, I know it looks different, unique, but it's going to be amazing, so please tune in. Hit the like button. Paul's Kitchen. My name is Chef Paul, and with me is the ever-present, ever-smelly Amy. Gonna say something?
Hi.
And today we're gonna do a very famous Canadian/French dish called poutine, which, you know, hear me out to all my American, European friends and all of you over the world. It's gonna sound different, but it's French fries, gravy, and cheese curds. Now, we're using cheese curds. You can use whatever cheese you want. It still works, but cheese curds is the way it's meant to be. It's a great dish, but it is different. Give it a try. I've heard a lot, hey, what's poutine? Like, what's that all about? Well, today we're going to show you. Just a little short segment. If you go to Quebec, they don't have regular French fries. It's not a thing. Little short story. We went a small group from New Brunswick to Ottawa, and we stopped in Quebec and Montreal, and we went to McDonald's of all places. Can't read a lick of French at the time, and it's all in French. So you just point, and then they take your debit card and they, you know what I mean? So I can't understand what it is, right? And, you know, I just figure I'm just going to get my Big Mac, fries, and my Coke and be happy. Not the case. I sit down and eat, and what do I have? This is not French fries. What the heck? At the time, I absolutely hated it, but then again, it is McDonald's. Some years forward, now poutine's all over the place, at least in Atlantic Canada. You can get it almost anywhere, and if you get it from a really good place, it's amazing. So today we're going to do a very good poutine. It's very simple, very easy, but I'm going to try to make it as best and as chefy as I possibly can to make it healthy as I can and actually make it really good. First off, we're going to work on the potatoes. We're not going to season them, and you know what? No salt. Do not put any salt on this until the very bitter end. When it's all over, said and done, if you have to have it, put it on then. Do not put it on before, because you're going to ruin it. So we're going to make French fries first. So we cut off some potatoes, and cut them up whatever way you want. This is the way we did it. Doesn't mean you have to. So we're just going to put them in a bowl of water, and we're going to let them sit there for 30 minutes. And again, it's very, very important that you do not, for any reason, put anything on them yet. They're soaking in water. I'm going to let you know right off the bat, we're not going to put any salt in this. When we go to make these, we're using an air fryer. You can bake yours, you can fry them, do whatever you want. If you want to do deep frying, hey, be my guest. We won't do deep fry. It's not healthy and it's not the greatest. But the whole reason why I'm saying don't use salt is when you put salt in this, when it comes out and you fry it or bake it or air fry whatever with salt on it, what it's going to do, it's going to bring the moisture out. If you want these nice and crisp, you need the moisture gone. You don't want the moisture at all. If you bring up moisture, they're not going to be crisp. Don't do that. So that's but before we go much further, please hit the like, share, subscribe button. Check out my Patreon page. It's all appreciated. It is my birthday this week, so birthday wishes is really nice. I'm not going to tell you exactly when because I don't like my age. You only turn 25 once. Not 25, but But anyways, so we're gonna let this sit here for 30 minutes. And 30 minutes time, what we're gonna do, we're gonna rinse this, we're gonna dry them off, and then we're gonna cook them whatever way you wanna cook them. I'm using an air fryer, so I don't think we all need to learn how to actually bake. If you do, you might wanna learn a little bit of that, but whatever seasoning you want, doesn't matter, no salt. When you're done, 30 minutes, take them out, rinse them, dry them out, put them in a microwave, take a towel, paper towel, dry them out as best you can. Then we don't need to do too much with it because the air fryer will take care of that. But if you're baking any other way, dry them off. But we'll be back in approximately 30 minutes, probably a little longer because we're going to start baking this, and then we're going to start making the gravy. Welcome back. So now we already got our potatoes done, and one of the reasons, if I didn't mention it before, that we soak our potatoes, it gets rid of the starch. Amy, how disgusting was that bowl of potatoes?
It was gross.
All the starch out of there. When we soak that and then we take it out, we rinse them off, we dry them, it makes a world of difference. It does make you feel a little bit better when you're eating them, because Lord knows when you don't take the steps to do that, they're starchier, it makes it feel a little heavier, and by the time you're done cooking them, they're not as crisp, they're not as good. So we got them in the air fryer right now. We got them in for 20 minutes. I got skins on, doesn't mean you have to. So now we're going to get ready to make our gravy. So here I've got a frying pan, I've got some oil in there, extra olive virgin oil, and I've got some onions and carrots that we're going to put you on hold because Amy forgot all about that. Bad Amy. And she's going to get that done, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. So we got the carrots done. Amy said she had done it and she forgot, so not a big deal. So we got some carrots. So what we're doing now is we're working on gravy. And you ask, why, pray tell, do we have carrots and all this for gravy? Well, we're going to sauce this up a little bit, and we're going to make this really, really fine. We're going to put this into a blender and make this into a puree, and this is going to be going into the gravy mix. Does this seem a little strange? Absolutely, probably does. But it's going to give the gravy a little bit more thickness, a little bit more texture and flavor. We got some mushrooms, onions, and carrots. Now, it's not going to really matter too much how much you cut them down. All they need is just a really rough cut. The reason for that is quite simple. It really, really is. And the reason is this. We're just going to get these getting soft, and then they're going to go through the blender, and we're going to try to get this into a puree as much as we can. And the flavor is going to go into our gravy. So we're going to end up cooking this down for quite a while so everything's nice and soft. Do you have to do this part? No, you don't. You really don't. But you know what? Sometimes you just want to have a little bit more flavor. Because you know what? You can make this as simple as you want. You make your fries, you get your cheese, and you make your gravy, add it together, done. It's easy. However, some of us, we like to, do a little bit of impression. And I'll tell you another little story. We have some really good friends that we used to go to karaoke with, and they were together for what, 15, 20 years? Never made this woman anything. Never once cooked for her at all. Maybe they might have cooked some craft dinner together. Amy, would you be impressed with me if all I ever made you was craft dinner?
No.
No. What was the first meal I ever made for you?
Spaghetti.
How was it?
Excellent.
And why was it excellent?
Because it was homemade.
And what was different about it than what you normally have?
It was just really good.
The answer I was looking for is that it had a lot of vegetables in it.
Yes, it did.
It had a lot of stuff into it because it made effort. So sometimes making a little bit more effort is going to do a lot more for you than not. Putting the effort in, ladies and gentlemen, will make you look like you're a much better cook. So this extra step here, well, a lot of people may not understand or really even care about, for that matter, you know what, the reason we're doing it isn't necessarily to win a prize, but if you're doing this for your girlfriend or wife and you're not used to cooking, she's going to be impressed because you put a lot of effort into it. If my wife actually takes the time and does something like this for me, because I do most of the cooking, so it's not her, it's actually me. But if she takes the time and she makes something a little bit more effort into it, I appreciate it more than if she didn't. So, take your time. This is going to take a little bit. I just want to throw out a few shout outs here. I want to thank Suntop. I also want to thank Helena. Helena's an amazing lady. Suntop's an amazing guy. They're all people that help us out. Sapphire, Rob's, and I can go on. I just want to thank everybody that joins my IC group on Poul'sKitchen. I want to thank my wife especially. I know some people set the camera up somewhere and you only get one view. With Amy, I get to have a lot more than one view, which makes it really, really good. It makes it a lot easier and more fun to film. And I'm sure you guys can appreciate watching it because you actually get a little bit more than just looking at one little thing. So I want to thank everybody that actually takes the time to watch this. But you can mix this up. You don't have to segregate and just cook one at a time. This is all going to go in the blender together. It's not important how it looks. What's important is that it gets cooked down enough that it's going to get nice and soft. You want your carrots, and those are going to be the hard ones. You want your carrots to be nice and soft. When they're soft, it'll be so much easier to blend. If you didn't need them soft, we wouldn't need to do this step. We really wouldn't, but we do. So what we're going to do from here is I'm going to put you on pause here for a little bit. I'm going to continue cooking this. When this is done, everything's going to be in the blender, and then we're going to start on the rest of the gravy. We're almost done, guys. I mean, seriously. The hardest and the longest part is A, waiting for your potatoes to soak, and then A, getting your veggies to get nice and soft. So we'll be back soon. We're back. So I told you I was going to let you watch this, but we decided it was too loud, so yeah, no. It's done. So it's pretty good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this pot here, we're going to put it on medium heat, and we're going to put in 2 cups of water as per directions. Now, one thing I want to make sure I'm very clear on this, we're using a packet sauce. It's Poutine gravy. This is something that's popular here. Now, you might not be able to find it. You can use canned gravy, you can make it homemade if you want, you can use regular gravy, doesn't matter. We're going to use Poutine gravy. We're going to use 1 packet here, maybe I'll use 2. What do you think, Amy?
1 will probably do, don't you think?
Actually, no, I'm going to use 2.
Where's the other one?
It's right there. We'll use that there. So I'm just going to grab another 2 cups of water. So the point on this is make whatever you're used to, whatever you're used to. If you can only get regular gravy in this, do it. If you want to make your own, hey, even better, right? I mean, because look at this. It's got 14% sodium. It's not the greatest thing in the world. We don't eat gravy all the time, so it's not going to kill us, right? But I mean, get the low sodium if you can. It's always better. So we're gonna let this boil up a little bit. We're gonna mix her. We're almost done. Like seriously, like all this hard work that we've done, right? Not really. So our fries are already done. So we're going to stir this up here because we really want to make sure that we really extremely want to make sure everything's mixed really well. And I'm gonna add a few little things in here just because I really want it. I'm gonna put a little bit of roasted garlic roasted garlic spice in here. Don't need a whole lot. And then I'm going to do a little bit of allspice, and I think that's all I'm going to use. Put whatever spices you want, you know what I mean? Because if you're used to having certain tastes and certain spice, then by all means. Poutine doesn't have to have a specific flavor for the gravy. It really doesn't. If you go to places like Smoke's Poutineery in Halifax, you can get mac and cheese, you can get rib, you can get... I can't think of them all right now.
You can get like 50 different kinds.
There's a million, so I mean you can put bacon in this, chicken, but whatever you want to do, it doesn't really matter. So, by all means, you know, make this yours. But you do want to make sure that it's nice and steaming hot. So we're going to put our puree in here. I'd rather this be as liquid as I can. If you have a standing mixer that will do that, that's even better, but not every one of us has that, and I don't really want to buy one because I'm not going to use it enough. But this will do the job as good as we need it to. You know, try to get in and get as much of this out as you can, because number one, when you go to clean this, it's going to be a pain in the butt if you don't. No, not that I care, because somebody else is going to be cleaning it. So, I mean, you can use as much as you want in my house.
No!
So that's there. And you may be thankful, because honestly, we're not really cooking that much. So she's not going to have to do dishes as much as what she normally does when I make stuff. In my house, and Amy will tell you this is true, she'll have to do dishes like 2 or 3 times when I cook. Mm-hmm. That's just when I'm cooking. That doesn't mean she hasn't cooked or she hasn't cleaned since breakfast or supper either, right? This is just from when I cook. We don't have a dishwasher here aside from Amy.
And yourself.
I cook, you clean. So you want to make sure you mix this in really, really good. Now, if you really want this to be thick, you can put a little bit of flour in this. I'm not so analyzed on having everything that super thick, so I don't really care. This is a texture that I like. However, everybody's going to be different. So, you know, to each their own on that. I'm not going to tell you that you have to have it that way, because you don't. You can do whatever way you want, so you do you. Put a little bit of flour in here, put this on here until it starts bubbling up, it says, and then what? Yeah, until it comes to a boil. Then once it comes to a boil, let it simmer for a minute, then you're gold. So I mean, we're pretty much done. We're Now, I'm saying that we're using cheese curds today. They're much better to use cheese curds than you are for using anything else. However, with that being said, cheese curds is expensive. It really is. I'm not an overly huge fan of them. And to be honest with you, normally Amy and I don't use them. But that's our preference. It's not everybody. Everybody's going to be different on that. Normally, Amy and I will just grate up some cheese. That's all you need. We chose cheese curds, so if you want to try this recipe with just regular cheese, no one's going to grape at you about it. No one's going to holler at you. Maybe Amy might a little bit, but that's Amy for you, though. So we're just going to take a bowl and we're just going to start filling it. We could have done this a little bit longer, but what would you serve this with? Personally, this is usually not more than enough for us, so we normally wouldn't serve this with anything else. But I mean, if you want to serve it with some hot dogs, a little bit of a salad, I wouldn't put any more fries or anything too starchy with it, because, you know, this is kind of enough. You want to put some Kraft Dinner in there if you want to be a little bit more laid back, you can do that. Vegetables, absolutely. And this is another recipe, and you have to look at for the ingredients though, but you can totally make this vegan. Totally vegan. Computer tech, if you're out there in your little sheep wrangling project in Poland right now, and you know we're thinking about you, buddy. You know, this totally can be 100% vegan, 100%. Look for your gravy though. Make sure that you're getting a gravy that would pass for vegan, because I mean they do exist. You can totally get that. It's not unheard of. Well, and this is boiling, so now we're just going to let this simmer. Well, and it's actually nice. It's getting nice and thickened up here. So it's going to let the simmer here for another minute. So if you know my buddy Computer Tech, he's a really nice young kid. He puts up with us, which is asking a lot from you in some days. So he's in Poland right now on the sheep wrangling project. Don't ask me what that means. He's never been able to give me a good, clear answer on that one, but it is what it is, I guess. So here we're going to take a handful of cheese curds. And maybe a little bit more than that. We're just going to sprinkle that on here, and we get a little bit more, so you know what, let's just cheese this up. You don't have to use